Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here of Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
Yes, hello everybody, welcome to episode 194. Thank you for joining us tonight. Speaking of joining us, big shout out as always to our buddy Dan from Console Wars for topping on last week. We'll see you in the playoffs next week.
Yeah, you son of a b****, you guys.
No, our monetization, I just ruined it by cursing within a minute. No.
Now I have to bleep when you say it and just go blub. Actually, you know what? You got to give me the blub.
No.
You got to give me the blub for it now that you're going to screw up our monetization. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So that'll be our curse cover for the first minute.
I just sold my dignity once again for 3 cents.
Oh, Dan, the Giants just made it. And Jim, have you been watching all the wild card games?
It's been a crazy week, Brian. Crazy weekend of games.
I can't even think. I mean, I think yesterday's had to go down as the craziest.
How do you get 4 interceptions and still lose? How do you do that?
I turned it off after going into halftime. It was what, 20-0?
It was like 27-0, I think, something like that.
Yeah, it was something crazy, and I was like, well, this is done. And then I happened to turn on fourth quarter. I was like, wait.
Matt Ryan-esque levels of blowing it. Amazing.
That was, man. So yeah, this I will say it's been some of the most entertaining games for wild card I can remember in any season.
Oh
so
yeah.
And then what's right now? Is it Ravens and who are they playing? Because tomorrow is Cowboys and Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I'm blanking out right now.
Yeah, but yeah, no, wild card picture is crazy. Yeah, next week will be good old Giants.
Oh, Ravens, Bengals. That's what's going on right now.
Bengals. Okay. I just hope the Cowboys lose next week.
Yep.
I hope the Giants.
Tom Brady, do your thing for the love of God.
I hope the Giants do the same as they did the last time.
Our Twitter avatar is riding on it.
Yes.
Nice little bet we have going.
Yeah. So, Dan, don't know if we're going to see you for that, but yeah, it'll be fun. But thank you, bud. We do appreciate you coming on. We always appreciate you coming on. And yeah, we definitely are setting up a legit full drinking power hour, if you will.
Yep.
Chambers, though. Speaking of drinking, even though I am a little sicky boy, and we were supposed to get in person today, with the daughter having strep, my wife just getting over COVID. I've been testing negative for everything, so I just have something funky going on. I was like, you know what? I'll be good. I won't pass this.
Yeah. So, somehow, me and you duck, dodge, dip, dive, and ducked and dodged our way through everything at friggin' MagFest. So.
I even, yesterday decided, let me test again, because now that, I still have this, whatever. Yeah, still negative, so don't know how that's possible. And the reports did come out, and there are a lot of COVID cases from MagFest.
Not a shock.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so I'm still drinking. Still got to go 23 and 23. But I decided, I was like, you know what? I do have some that specialty 12-pack of beers, I said. I'm trying to make sure I have, all my flavors for it. So I went with an IPA that I haven't tried. The Toppling Goliath Brewing Company. It's called Pompeii. I think Tommy actually got me this.
Oh, cool.
Over summer. So, so far, I'm going to use a gym line. It's fine. Gets the job done. It's, it's got that, fresh hoppiness, which is good because I haven't really had an IPA in a long time. All I've had is shitty Coors and a bunch of German beers. So I haven't had an IPA in a little bit. So it's nice to switch it up. What about you, Chambers?
Yeah, so I bought some beers specifically for when we hang out together, so we'll be hitting that next week. But I'm actually going with one I haven't touched in a long goddamn time. My neighbor's got it for me as part of a Christmas box. So some good old Sierra Nevada.
The original Pale Ale.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I've had this. It's probably been 10 years or something. Not because I don't like Sierra Nevada, I just, it's something I never pick out.
When I see that in aisles, I look at that almost like macro beer. There's some craft breweries like a Stone or some of them where I go, I know it's good. It's not a matter of not being good. It's just I always want to try something new. And yes, Sierra Nevada, they were one of the first pioneers for the term Pale Ale. And Like their celebration beer is probably the last one I had from them in a while. They always churn out good shit.
Yeah, like I'm drinking, I'm like, man, I forgot how good this is. It's definitely like that nice little in between like the Rolling Rock version of Pale Ale and like an IPA. Like it's like perfectly in the middle right there. So like if you don't like IPAs but you want close to that flavor, just go with this. Like it's nice and smooth.
Would you say they didn't go full IPA on that?
Never go full IPA, Brian.
Never go full IPA.
Topical jokes.
Hey, if anyone doesn't know that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Brian, that's called Zoomers every 5 years when they would go, Rodney did blackface in a movie? And then they get all shocked for like a week. How did this happen? He's Iron Man.
Damn it, Jim. I still want to try to figure out. We've been doing that voice for so long. What is actually the origin of that? Like, I think it is a specific character, and I can't.
I think it's like just evolved over time of us doing I Love Boobies Pops from, what do you call it?
Yes, yep, that's it. Yeah, from Corky Romano.
Yeah, good old Chris Penn. Rest in peace.
Yep. Don't you shoot my daddy.
Yep.
So, Chambers, I know we're recording this a day early, and I know we've been both pretty busy, but what games you been playing this past week?
Dude, I don't think I've touched anything. I didn't have dick for time this past week, so I haven't done any more Shadow or Elden Ring. I got to get back into that. I spent like 10 minutes with that Tetris Effect connected just to try it out, but that'll be my pickup when I just have like a couple minutes free kind of game. But yeah, I haven't really done anything. How about you?
It's all honestly been Midnight Suns. I'm at that. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm not saying it in a good way, but it's like I've now in the home base. I've uncovered like every secret there, so now I'm at that point where it's like I'm trying to just do story missions. I don't know how many more I have left, but I can't imagine it's a ton. So, excuse me. What I really would like, and I doubt you'll be able to. I mean, I'd be shocked if you do it this year, but seeing how you're such a big fan of XCOM 2. It's obviously, a lot of similarities, but so much different because, with XCOM 2, the biggest thing is the permadeath. Well, you don't have permadeath here. You will just lose a mission and then have to restart it if your heroes die. So it kind of takes some of that pressure of like, well, I'm not going to lose them out of the equation, but it's still like, I would say even more strategic because it's like a card. Because it's basically a card-based game. So you have a deck of cards that gets randomly shuffled, but it's played out in XCOM 2 style. So it's really... I still don't know how to even compare it.
Right, does it have Pot of Greed?
Fuck. I don't know what that is.
Right, you draw 2 cards.
Yes, that is one of your powers. They don't call it Pot of Greed, you son of a bitch. Don't you dare.
Oh, I will.
Don't you dare.
Man's game.
I actually think because you're so into card games, you might actually.
I probably really would like it, so I gotta give it a shot.
It probably even more, yeah.
I've had Slay the Spire sitting on my PlayStation because it was free 1 month for like a couple months now, but I also hear it's like ridiculously long of a game and also kind of roguelike-y. So I'm like, I don't have the time to invest in that right now.
Yeah, and then you add modifiers to cards, and oh boy, well, there's just a whole lot, and that's it. That's honestly all I've been playing, and it's not even been much, because there's actually more time now where my son just wants to come in and play Minecraft, and the shit he can do on that is stuff I still haven't figured out. He's like, look, I built like a whole roller coaster and a trapdoor system and this, and here's another portal. I was like, I don't know what any of this shit is. I was like, I started this game like 25 times and just got bored of it.
Old Boomer Brian finally coming out.
Yep. So yeah, that's basically, it's been slow. Like I said, I'm hoping this week I want to finish Midnight Suns, start getting footage on a PS2 for the Shadow, because I did try tinkering around with my PS2 adapter. I think I have more tinkering, I'll just say. But I want to get footage for that. So that's kind of my next after Midnight Sun.
Right, yours is the only version that you can change the language to the native Japanese.
Oh boy, I can't wait to do that.
It might be an improvement considering the quality of the voice acting in the game.
Well, Jim, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get to it, but there would be a certain list that was put out on Tier Maker that suggests Shadow is better than Sonic Pinball.
Yeah. It is funny because Brian sent me this like tier list of like a guy did like a tier of like every single Sonic game. He's like, we should talk about this. I'm like, we can, but like I've played more Sonic than you, and I've only played like 8 Sonic games total. So.
Oh no, I only wanted to point out the fact that they had Sonic and Knuckles in the S+ tier.
That's what I expect.
But they had Sonic 2 as the. At first, I thought they were saying it was A. Technically, it's S, but because they're weird and have S+. I really just sent it to you just because they had Shadow the Hedgehog over top of Sonic Pinball.
Oh, he had to make a point to say Sonic fucking Shadow's fun and he's going to die on that hill and bullcrap like that. Sir.
Yeah, I obviously, yeah. I have no knowledge of, outside of like 5 Sonic games, I can't speak to any of them. So I'm just like, I sent it to you just to piss you off because clearly Shadow's a superior game to your beloved pinball. Did you pick up? Now let me see. Here's the real test. Did you first right away just arbitrarily look at what's on there? Or did you search out like where did they put certain Sonic games?
I mean, I just kind of looked where he was putting everything. So.
Yeah, I went to it right away at first. Like, where did they put Sonic 3? And I saw that and I went, okay. I was like, now where's Shadow? I was like, okay.
Yeah, he had that like what, a B- or something?
Something
Ridiculous.
like that. Yeah.
Fucking, I was like 7 when I played it. Shut up. Game sucks. It's awful.
Jim, I can't wait to do that review.
Me neither. Because that means I'll be done with it.
In theory. Or will you?
In theory. Everything's in theory.
So, Chambers, what do we have this week? Because actually, I think a lot of you, I'm really proud, I think you got a lot of questions in this week in Patreon.
Buttload of Patreon questions tonight. So, patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame. $2 a month. That gets you the ability to ask a question on every single episode of this Power Hour podcast. So, he asked it last week after recorded, asked again this week from Brian Reese. Can't wait to hear your take on the limited run games fiasco. Oh boy!
So, Jim, this is actually, I prompted, I asked you the question, about putting this on here. You mentioned we had a question about it. I did a deep dive research into this. There's a million links you could go into. I needed to find multiple recaps because I still wasn't quite sure. The long and short, and you correct me because maybe you know a little bit more, but Limited Run basically released this long-winded statement after releasing their community manager, one of their community managers. Basically, what it's been discovered is, 1, for a tweet that's probably 7 years old, and 2, for liking tweets regarding the Hogwarts game, the new Harry Potter game, and also following some alt-right accounts potentially.
Yeah, so here's how this all prompted. So, yeah, I forget the name of the community manager. So she wrote a tweet basically saying, can't wait to pick up Hogwarts Legacy. So, obviously, anything Harry Potter related instantly has that cloud over it of J.K. Rowling and how much of a anti-trans loudmouth she's become over the past couple years. So, I think the name was like Pink Tinkerer or something like that.
Yep.
It's
right.
someone who apparently ran BronyCon. So...
Started it, yeah.
Starting strong there. Definitely dealing with a, Oh, God. So, I guess she put a whole bunch of tweets to Limited Run saying, blah, 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 hate speech person. When what she basically did was she combed through 7 years of tweets to find something to hang this woman with. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was about the whole trans in bathroom debate and all that bullshit. But then it also came down to pointing out, accounts she follows, tweets that she likes, and stuff like that. So, after all that, Limited Run Games put out their statement that says, this was on January 6th, Limited Run Games respects all personal opinions. However, we remain committed to supporting an inclusive culture. Upon investigating a situation, an employee was terminated. Our goal as a company is to continue to foster a positive and safe environment for everyone. And so, as these things do, it was just a huge explosion on Twitter, and it's kind of still going on.
I would say it's, still going on fairly strong. I've seen you know what it is? I haven't seen, and you're the internet guy, but I haven't seen a single defender for Limited Run. The only defense I've seen in the weakest terms is, well, they're a private company, they can do what they want. Like,
I mean, there's that, and like the trans community's like, you know, been defending it and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, outside of them, it's been a lot of it's a private company, or you know, just saying, you know, oh, she's a shitty person anyway, who cares, and that kind of crap. So then, of course, everyone starts doing digging on everyone as they do. So, of course, like Doug Bogart, who's one of the heads of Limited Run Games, like people started like, you know, bringing up a ton of tweets of his where he's like, you know, he's a guy in the hardcore left. So, you know, doing his stuff and being like, oh, maybe I should put a thing in my profile saying, you know, these are my opinions, they don't reflect Limited Run. So that's obviously like the biggest source of hypocrisy you could possibly have for, you know, a person basically doing the same thing, and theirs is from 7 years ago. Like, and then the icing on the cake is Pink Tinkerer has also been chased off Twitter now because people dug through her timeline, and she defends pedophilia by saying stuff like, you know, if I have sex with a 13-year-old, then the 13-year-old basically knows what they're doing, and they can determine if they've been taken advantage of or not. Shit like that. So wonderful people all around. God, I love my life. Well, love talking about this shit.
Well, it's funny because that's the thing. We've been over this many times, I feel like, and we've talked about this. Yes, of course, company can do what they want. But when you are taking up arms to fire one of your own folks, and they clearly did it, it felt kind of like rash. I don't know, other than this person that was rallying for it, like what kind of backing they had. But like, they didn't decide to do a little digging on that person to say, maybe this isn't the best source to take it from. So,
and I mean, like, I don't know, maybe there's some stuff in there. Maybe they had an axe to grind with this person anyway, but didn't have anything. Maybe they took an opportunity to fire someone. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the back and forth of anything or behind the scenes of the company. But, you know, we can just work with what's been presented in front of us. But, I mean, you could have easily also fired the person and not made a public, you know, virtue signal statement about it, and then no one would have known. And then no one would have dug through every single thing that everyone's ever said, because that's what you open yourself up to when you do shit like this.
Well, I know I've seen also a lot of, like, analytics, and Limited Run has been bleeding followers, bleeding things left and right. And here's the deal. I unfollowed them months and months and months ago. I was done with them. Honestly, after the fiasco I dealt with them, we're like, they're not a good company. Like,
right. I love that your fiasco is really just being a customer at any time of Limited Run Games.
Yeah.
Your fiasco is I bought limited edition of something. It took a year and a half to get it.
Yeah. That's a fiasco. Like, that's terrible communication, because it's not like I didn't reach out to them. It was just I was ignored. They're not a good company. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, so it's like, I don't need to follow that. Like, I had no reason to, and then I started seeing this wave of shit, and I'm like, I'm not shocked. Like, clearly leadership there needs a change. Like, they're not the most competent, and they're making decisions like this, which are going to hurt their bottom line at the end of the day. So it's like, hey, they won some virtue points in one tiny arena, and I think they fucked themselves on a wider scale. So, I don't know.
And it could be a thing where it's just a short term too. And it'll be a thing where, like, anything else, like, the second they have something someone really wants, they're going to just buy it anyway. So, it'll probably be like that outfall for a bit, and then who the fuck knows?
I don't know. I just hope other companies come and they just get washed away into obscurity, like they probably will. So,
I mean, there's a bunch of Limited Run clone companies out there and stuff like that, but I mean, Limited Run, like anything else, like, they are the brand that's associated with it. They're the Google of the, you know, inflated value, limited press release of games, blah, blah, blah. Oh, fuck. What company was it that, like, threw shade at them over the past week? I don't know if it was, like, Special Reserve or Limited something or other, but they did that meme of the guy, like, with the two buttons, and it was, like, only 5,000 copies printed, 1,000 copies appear before a flash sale, and him sweating. Something like that. It's like, whoop,
yeah.
little finicky there, little whoopsies.
I mean, I don't know. I like how seems like you're playing a little bit more of a neutral boy. Or I guess I respect it. Like I said, I just say, I think it was a shitty move on their part. Of course, a company can do what they want, but given the source of who was calling for this, once again, you go, no.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
no.
I mean, if someone makes a stink, like, one, if you want to choose to take the side of it, then fine, that's whatever. But, like, you don't have to make a big public statement about it either. You can, I mean, maybe they were trying to get ahead of it, is because a community manager, the first thing they can do is, run to Twitter first and go, oh, I was fired for no reason by shitty limited run, and then that makes a whole thing too. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think you either, I mean, A, you could ignore the complaint if the person's good at the job and it's not affecting the job, or B, do it and, not make a public statement about it and not bring a shitstorm on yourself. I guess, to their credit, they've just kind of ignored all the complaints and just kept plugging on with just plugging their products and shit. So they're almost pulling like a Channel Awesome when they had their big controversy and just ignored it and just kept doing their thing, and eventually it went away.
They ended up turning off comments to all their stuff for a while. So
I think they are still off for a lot of things.
Yep.
The tweet in question, the big tweet, is comments are still off, but let me check their most recent one here real quick. Yep, comments are still off, so there's always that mighty brave sand, that line in the sand that you take when you turn comments off after a big statement. So yeah, that's always good optics.
And they literally have it on what I'm seeing as pretty much everything since that tweet.
Every single tweet, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I look at that and I go, okay, you fucked up. They don't want to hear about it. Like you're saying, they're going to try to head in the sand, ignore it.
Well, you know what it is? They've been complained at, and in so many controversies in general, they're just like, all right, turn it off for a while, we'll turn it back on eventually. Like, yeah. They're kind of used to making a Twitter firestorm or being the bad guy for a little while, so.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. The only other thing I'll say about this, because I feel like we've talked about the Hogwarts games on a bunch of episodes, but it's also a weird thing where it's like, I get it if you don't want to support it because of J.K. Rowling, but like, remember, it was game developers, all these things. Like, there's thousands of other people who are involved that have nothing to do with that. So it's like, you could just also, you get judged for so much stupid shit these days. If you choose to like a video game trailer of a game that somebody else doesn't agree with, doesn't mean they're a terrible person. That's all I'm gonna say.
Actually, what do you call it? To that point, we'll get to that later because we're gonna be, spoiler, I guess, for the episode, we're going to be talking about Adam Sessler. So, in his recent breakdown on Twitter. But he was recently on an episode of The Biggest Problem in the Universe, and when he was on there, he was kind of like, yeah, it's kind of weird that this game is like the line in the sand. It's almost like, and then I think Vito is like, yeah, it's going to be almost like a Gamergate 2.0, because it's like, is anyone really going to give a fair shake to the game? Because they're going to come in it with,
they're going to be terrified.
Yeah, like there's almost it's almost like, there's going to be no ethics there. It's going to be like, either this is my political stance, so it's garbage no matter what, or just go, like, it could just be a meh game. Like, we talked about it when we watched the trailers for it during, like, one of those, the Sony State of Plays. And when I saw the clips, I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And then I saw it was Harry Potter, and I was like, Harry Potter's stupid. So I just didn't care. So. Here's
the deal. I said I only just watched Harry Potter.
Then, sorry to cut you off real quick, but like, there's a lot of people who, the second all this shit went down, they're like, well, fuck you, I'm ordering Harry Potter. So it's like, well, that worked.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Now you're going to have, if it gets positive reviews, it'll be because alt-right trolls purposely positively review bombed it, and then it's going to be combated by people who are automatically never played the game, will say it's a terrible game, don't buy it. So yeah, you will see that probably combined effort of like, yeah, I don't know. It'll be a thing. I said when we talked about the game, it looks cool. I don't care about how, like, I've seen all the movies at one time or another, but I don't care enough. Like, if it's free on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever, I'll play it. I'll give it a try, but I'm not going out of my way either way to try it or not try it.
Yeah. Well, Brian, I know you said I was taking a middle of the road thing, but here's going to be my final stance on it. If a brony complains about something, just ignore it.
There you go. That's what I like to hear, Jim. No, but who asked that question again?
What do you call it? Yeah, well, I put my phone down so long ago. Brian Reese.
Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate it. So, next up from Reliving Retro. The better top 10 games, the PS1 or the PS2? Ooh.
Probably PS2. I mean, PS1 may... It's like the argument with NES versus Super NES. It's kind of like a lot of things might have started, or franchises started in PS1, but it's undeniably even functionally better in the PS2. And as Jim and I said, like, that generation, that PS2, Xbox, Dreamcast, all that, GameCube, that generation it still holds up pretty damn well today. So I think those games will ultimately hold up. It's not, even though I came to an easy conclusion, PS1 has absolutely killer titles, but yeah, I would probably say PS2 has a better top 10.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree, just because it's going to be better to go back to and play. I mean, like, if the only argument I could ever see is if you go, again, JRPGs, because, they're barely games as is. So, you can go, back and forth between them. But outside of that, for games with, like, actual control schemes, the PS2 is just going to be better to play.
Jim, you son of a bitch.
What?
Hating on debatably one of the most popular video game genres in the world.
Look, Brian, a lot of lonely people out there who wish they were the pretty teenager who with the magical powers to save the world. All right?
Okay, Sony shill.
What?
Remember that was a comment they made?
No. When? What?
Or no. Was it Sony or was it Nintendo? Remember when they were saying about why the PS1 survived, and they're like, oh, there's a lot of like sad people.
Oh, dude, that was the president of Nintendo.
Oh, there you go.
That.
So you're Nintendo shill. I knew it was one of them.
Look, a good quote's a good quote. What can I say? Next up from Snarkcast. Too many games or MagFest? Which do you prefer and why?
Well, locality, obviously. Too many games.
Oh, yeah.
It's much easier to get to. You can't compare. Like, there's so much more to do at MagFest.
Yeah.
Obviously, the policing was very much more annoying at MagFest.
Yes.
So the personnel at MagFest sucked. Beer options.
Way easier to drink. Way easier to drink at too many games.
Yeah, because you can also just
better
walk
quality
around.
Stuff to drink at MagFest, but way easier to find stuff to drink.
Yeah. Yeah, having one bar at MagFest, unless we were idiots and didn't find another one, for that big of an area was insane. Whereas MagFest, I mean, what would you say? MagFest is a third the size of...
You mean too many games?
Or too many games is what, like a third the size? If that's being generous?
I mean, MagFest was fucking huge.
Yeah,
huge
so... but if you're actually looking for games, too many games is a much better option. Because that's kind of like I felt like there's a lot more video game sellers at too many games.
Yeah, because too many games is about games, where MagFest is a more all-encompassing thing. So
yeah,
I mean, it really comes down to like what you're more into. Like, do you want the whole culture of gaming, or do you just? I mean, too many games does have like concerts and like panels and other shit too. So it is kind of like MagFest, just on a much smaller scale.
Yeah, and there's something with me like I feel. This is going to sound so corny. This is the same as like you find a band you like that plays at local spots versus the big venue. And it's nice to like, we pretty much talk to the same people we would at either event.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. I think too many games is nice. Also, it's a third of the price.
Yeah. You can choose to buy a one-day pass.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the flexibility, the kind of loose-knit, like, we're not taking ourselves too serious nature, it makes too many games, in my opinion, a better time. But like Jim said, if you're looking for an East Coast version of the Disney World of a video game culture experience, then MagFest would probably be yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go with too many games because I didn't have some little fat nerd come up to me and go, "That's not welcome here," when I was, like, carrying a beer into, like, one of the halls. So, like, you could have just been like, "Hey, man, no beer." And I'd be like, all right, that's fine. But every fucking nerd with a goddamn badge had a power trip there. God, it was annoying.
I will say, and technically we did wear masks last year at too many games, but I think the smells are better at MagFest.
Yeah, too many games, you get that fucking gamer stank in there. There is no aeration in that. At least MagFest, like, you can go to different halls, but, like, the main big area is, like, this big, giant open thing, too, so.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and it's also maybe because too many games is in the balls hot middle of summer.
Probably doesn't help.
So, yeah. But now, too many games, yeah, for now, that's the gold standard for me.
Yep. Brian, we're just being homers. But I'll gladly be that, as I always am. Next up from Drewski. Best game you played in 2022, and why is it Shadow the Hedgehog? Drewski, fuck you. God damn it. I can't even say... At least I played some other Sonic games, so I can't even be a dick and be like, well, it's the best Sonic game I played in 2022. Can't even say that. I can say that for 2023 so far. Until I play Frontiers. Maybe I'll still say it after playing Frontiers. Who knows? The world is my oyster.
I mean, I think we covered it in our level 50. Like I said, for me, it was The Witcher 3. That was my game in 2022.
Yeah, and mine was XCOM 2.
Yeah.
Next up from JD Mains. What is the best video game adaptation of a movie?
Video game okay. I'd probably throw like 3 out there. GoldenEye, obviously. Like, I think that was better than the movie. Like, the movie is kind of forgettable for me, and that
it's fun, but it's not great. Yeah,
that single player campaign, a multiplayer, it tells the story of the legacy of that game. The little bit I played, the Chronicles of Riddick game, it was like really fun. The something at Butcher.
Oh, Escape from Butcher Bay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess I would throw in maybe the Wolverine game, because that movie was terrible and that game was way better than it deserved to be.
I think that's actually going up in value now too, X-Men Origins Wolverine, because the license ran out, so it's only from that era. And yeah, people really did like that game when it came out.
Yeah, very, very violent, very like, oh wow, like you can do this with kind of like the same feeling I had when I played Punisher. I was like, oh, you can just do that with a superhero game? Cool. Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, Punisher's a good one too.
Yeah.
You could even go like, back in the 16-bit era, like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie game. Like, it's just a fighting game.
That's
but
a great game.
Fits perfectly.
I mean, you could do the original Batman on the NES. That's a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great game. It's barely anything to do with the movie, but it's a great game.
Yeah.
But that's I mean, I think you kind of have to give it to GoldenEye, though, because that's like the game that like transcended the movie.
Yeah, well, like I said, when you say GoldenEye, most people think of the game first, then the movie.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with that.
I would bet most, actually, younger kids today might not even know there's a movie.
They might not. Where's my other beer?
Jim, you're just looking around like a goofy ass.
I know I'm looking like a goofy ass right now. I'm trying to find the other beer. I don't know where to put it. I'm so thirsty.
Damn it, Jim. Find your beer.
Oh, well, I'll get it after we're done this segment.
But GoldenEye is also kind of the easy answer, but it's...
Right, it's not Iron Man on the Xbox 360?
Jim, I might make you... I might pay the money for us to review it and have you play the game. Just
dollars are dollars.
That fucking game.
And actually, what do you call it? You can throw in, the Little Mermaid game on NES. Like, it's fucking fun. It's a good adaptation. Aladdin, great games. Yeah.
Actually, most... I want to be careful there, but a lot of the adaptation of Disney games, I think, usually turn out okay.
Yeah, I mean, at least back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Fantasia was a god-awful game, but besides that, most of them are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the transition from movie to game only had it's weird. It had that weird LJN period where, people obviously dunked on it because AVGN during the NES. And then I felt like it kind of hit its stride. It was good. And now it's just back to, most movies turned into games are just done for, just the sake of doing them, and they're garbage.
And, for the most part, they don't even do it that often anymore, or almost at all. For a while, Lego was the only one, getting every IP and turning them into a game. But outside of that, they don't make dedicated games for these movies anymore, either.
Well, I was going to say, the whole Lego franchise, that is, if you want nerdism and call-outs and all this shit, those are the games for you.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a great question, though. I think we did mention before, I definitely think the transition from movie to game is better than, obviously, game to movie.
Oh, yeah.
I like that question. Thank you, JD.
Yep, very good. And last up from Burn Retinas. Are there any games you feel you play better while drunk or buzzed than sober? Shadow the Hedgehog notwithstanding, can't escape this goddamn game!
So, I don't know if we were on someone else's podcast. I think we did talk about this, but I think we called it what it called. When you kind of get into a flow state with a game.
It's like beer muscles almost.
Yeah, when you stop thinking so much. I got a lot of my Warzone wins and Battle Royale in PUBG, and just because I didn't care anymore and I wasn't taking it as serious, and I was willing to kind of fuck around, and that's not what you're supposed to do. So I don't know. I think I just did better being just that little bit more relaxed. Being completely drunk, I can't say there's any game that's really good other than drinking games. You know, there's that old theory of like, oh, I need a few beers before I'm good at beer pong or this or that. But yeah, no, I think any first-person shooter for me, somehow I do a little better with a little bit of a buzz going, if not a little bit drunk.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we talked about it, like we said before, like, I've gotten some of my best kill streaks in Call of Duty when buzzed, so. Should I just get blackout drunk and play Tetris 99? Maybe I'll finally fucking beat it then.
Jim.
Maybe I won't, like, be, like, so in my head, and maybe I'll finally get that goddamn win.
What would you do if that happened? Like, you got a good buzz on? Jim, do it tonight. You're already going to be 2 beers deep. Have another one, and then play a game and see what happens.
Maybe I should. I mean, it's been a while since I booted that up, so let's see. Yeah, it's worth a shot. Good little science. You know me, Bri. I like my experiments, so.
Just eat some animal crackers and you'll be fine.
I'm out of animal crackers. I did not bring home that half bag of like 3 pounds I still had. So.
Fucking 3 pound bag.
That was a big fucking bag of animal crackers.
Still nasty taste.
Yeah. But yes, that wraps up the questions for this week. So once again, thank you to everyone for dropping those questions off and for the support. Like we said, if you're a patron, definitely make sure you get your rewards in there. And if you want to become a patron, check all the links below. And if you're new to the podcast, checking it out on iTunes or Spotify, please sub and leave a review. They say it helps, so we'll take any help we can get.
Thank you, guys. Always appreciate it. Keep getting those questions in.
Definitely.
All right, Chambers, so we are back. Did you find your beer?
I hate myself. Okay, so my lovely wife, she has this thing that she likes to call Napoleon eyes, where I will be looking for something, not be able to find something, and it will be right in front of me. Well, for anyone who's watching it or has ever watched a video feed before, this black thing right here, this is like a little soundproofing gate. Like, you know, obviously you can only do so much, but it gets a little bit of the overtones out and shit like that. It was right behind it. It was right here. It was like a foot literally in front of my face, right here.
And what I love, Jim, is, you know,
I was literally looking like a gopher around, like, where's my beer? Where's my beer? Where's my beer?
Well, what I love is your desk isn't big, so it's like one of the obvious spots is you could have just looked behind there. Like me, I have the advantage of there's not like both of my monitors are up, so obviously I can't miss it. But I have little compartments and other shit going on. You just have, you know, you could have just looked behind it.
It's a big open space of a desk. I mean, it's cluttered with shit, but it is a big open space of a desk. Not a lot of hiding spots, Brian, except for the one. The one and only, and all I needed was one.
Oh, Chambers. But Chambers, actually, there is something, 2 things I want to hit on that aren't topic related, but we forgot. So, Lil Fennec actually gave a suggestion for
Oh, yeah, fucking Gabby with a good idea, yeah.
Yep, so doing books, and as someone the past couple of years, I've definitely been upping my number of books to read. I love it. You know, anything you guys want to throw in there. We got beers, we got games, books. I'd say movies, but I mean, we could throw movies. I don't give a shit. Like, we'll throw whatever you guys want to do.
Whatever your passion is. If you want to do 23 new ones, then yes, that could be. Actually, fucking our buddy Crooked had a nice little revelation for us, Brian. Brian, we are masters of SEO, but you know what we didn't account for? White women.
Oh, I was going to say everyone else who's probably doing 23 and 23.
Everyone who is turning 23 in the year 23 and going, oh my God, I'm 23 and 23. Damn it. Damn it.
Well, Jim, in all fairness, you did come up with this one, so.
Spur of the moment. Sounded like a good idea at the time. No research done. This is what happens. It's like, what should we call our podcast? That's a beer podcast. We can call it the Power Hour.
Jim, how do you feel about it?
I'm just gonna unlife myself. It's over. It's all over.
Can't find your beers.
So like I have a kid who depends on me, or I'd be finding a big tree and driving into it at this point.
Jim. But Jim, I want to hear a little bit of a how happy you are, and a little congratulations to me on I'm finally dipping my toes back into the social media sphere by being on Discord for the past week.
You have been shockingly what do you call it?
I downloaded it, the app,
shockingly active
to my phone, and I was like, you know what? I'll make an effort. Let me do an effort here. Let me see what's going on. And you know what, Jim? I thought I couldn't be disappointed enough in you.
What?
And the amount of things I get tagged in because of you, I guess because, I don't know how that friend system works on there. Like, anyone I talk to, I just add as a friend.
Yeah.
But I guess I see things that come up, or maybe it's just because it's you. The memes you share, not just on our channel, but others. And I go, God damn it, Jim.
What? Guy has some fun on that.
It's Jim to the nth level. I'm like, God.
I mean,
damn it.
you basically get real Jimmy on Twitter, but if you want real Jimmy, you hit up the Discord.
It's an interesting place. I do like it. I said I'm making more of an effort to be on there just because it is fun. And like I said, I do like the way all the little, what do you even call them? Sub-channels? Channels?
Yeah, what do you call it? I mean, yeah, you can set up like categories or channels and then categories under them, or it's the other way around. I forget what the fuck it is.
Yeah. So
we're not really good at it, but we have it broken down pretty good. We have a good group of people in ours. So.
No, real cool. So yeah, Jim, I'm getting back into the pool. I'm putting my toes in there.
Yeah, dipping your feet in, dabbling.
Yeah. But Chambers, last week we did love having Dan on, but we did have to push a few topics, and these two were a little bit newer last week, but still I think they're very much worth talking about.
They're evergreen, Brian.
They are. But the first one is something I'm going to purchase after seeing these videos. But you tagged a TikTok video. It's Mike versus Beer, who I also had started following from us because I like this guy's attitude. Like I like this is like someone's dad who just decided I'm gonna do TikTok videos or something. But basically the beer caramelizer is a steel rod that you heat up, and I have the video going as we speak. You heat it up till it's basically red hot. You just plunge it into the beer. And what it does is it kind of like caramelizes all the sugar in the beer, creates like a ton of like foam and head. And it's supposed to be like the foam and the head is going to be a little bit warm, but your beer at the bottom will still be pretty much as cold as it was. So he tries that with a bunch of beers. And the first one he tried was like Busch Light Apple. And he said right away, it's like a toasted caramel, or it's like a toasted marshmallow with like the caramel flavors with a regular ass Busch Light beer. So now the Busch Light Apple tastes like apple pie.
Brian, we're talking about TikTok, so you have to call it a Busch Latte. That's what they call it on there.
God damn it, Jim.
No, Brian, seriously, like the way like Keystone's my like mean beer, like Busch Light is like the mean beer of TikTok. Apparently, like distributors can't keep it in stock now because of fucking TikTok.
So what you're saying is we gotta make a video on TikTok drinking Busch Light?
Basically, yes.
Okay, I'm down. But I looked into this, and there's some. I don't want to even. It's not controversy. There's like people were giving this guy shit on future videos. They're like, yeah, a lot of you were saying like this isn't a real thing from Germany. He's like, it was way back in the day. But what you do and what they used to do was just have iron rods or something like in the fire, and they would dip in their beer. Now way back in the day, it used to be for sterilization. Now it creates a different flavor profile because sugars in your beer, they caramelize, give a different flavor. It's an interesting thing. The number
it is
one
basically
thing
just like a cattle prod. We should make a branded DBPG cattle prod beer caramelizer.
We definitely can. Jim, we do the beer caramelizer, but at the end we just have a controller.
Ooh.
Dunk in your beer.
Clever girl.
Or make it a dick.
What?
So you can fuck your beer.
So speaking of dicks and your goddamn wife, so Brian's lovely wife.
Are you jealous of your soap, Jim?
So his lovely wife, they had a little family get together today, and so the sisters they're all godless whores. Let's just cut the crap here. So your lovely wife Monica decided to make soap for everyone, but she used a certain mold. She used a dick mold.
A dick mold.
Haha, funny. We have dick soap now. But, if something happens when you have dick soap and kids, you can't have the dick soap out around kids. So you have to go to the one fucking bathroom in the goddamn house where you can put the fucking dick soap, which happens to be the one in my goddamn game room. So now I have a dick soap in my bathroom. Thank you, Monica. Thank you so much.
Jim.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Jim. Hear me out.
No.
I
will not.
Hear me out. For our awesome patrons, as an exclusive video, you need to wash your hands with the dick soap. That's all you gotta do. I think they're owed.
And I know the comments will be flooded with, you better post that video, Jim. So, my hand to dick soap.
$1 gets you the views, folks.
$1, everyone. All it takes.
Yeah, she got that. She literally saw. She's like, some woman on whatever Instagram was making dick.
No, it was probably TikTok again. It's always TikTok.
It was something. She's
what?
She made enough to put a down payment on another house because she was making like dick crochets and candles and cakes and this and that. And she did the first. I think she gave your wife and the other sister, I don't know if it was like cakes or something with it. So she had made something else with it. And then I saw her. I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I'm giving Jim's wife and her other sister soap." I was like, and I thought in my head, I was like, what if his kid goes to use this?
What indeed?
But then there was the revelation that like at some point Jim's gonna run out of regular soap and just have to use it because you're so anal with soap that there's gonna be a part of you that I know you're both gonna hate it and go tee.
I do wash my hands a lot. So. $1, people. You can watch me wash my hands with the dick soap.
But no, I did this.
Got to set the tripod up and everything.
That's gonna be hilarious. But like this idea, I want to get this caramelizer. I want to try it, and I want us to do it like him. I want to try it with. Remember how we did our blind taste test with all the like macro beers? I want to do the same thing with this. But this is something I know for a fact that if you had and you were left to your own devices, you would burn the shit out of yourself.
Oh yeah, there's no way I wouldn't fuck it up.
I could see you like trying to like put your hand to put it down and forgetting and like
I have like a granite countertop, and even I would find a way to somehow burn my way through it or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I really, really want to try it. As I said, follow this guy. He has a lot of funny like little beer videos. He gives history on them. But yeah, I'm gonna be getting a beer caramelizer for us.
And I'm going to be washing my hands with dick soap.
Jim, do we bring it to too many games and really introduce danger into the mix?
Like we said, they have lax security, so it probably could. Just walking around with a blowtorch and a cattle prod.
Now, did you watch any of his other videos or just this one?
No.
Do yourself a favor. I know you don't watch any TikToks, but watch it, especially that guy. He, like I said, he does some entertaining ones.
Yeah, he sounds like a solid dude. And what do you call it? Shout out to Crooked again, because he's the one who turned me on to this. So
yeah, thank you, bud. Now, Jim, speaking of kids, we've talked about kids in tap rooms, breweries, whatever. And as we've said, it's been a thing, like especially like post-pandemic, like it's kind of very normal. You go there. A lot of places have really good food or some shit. You bring your kids. Well, Kensington, which is the armpit of Philly, basically
East Coast even.
Yeah, it's bad. But one of their brewers, Human Robot, which I've never had any of their beers, just made a new rule that said no kids after 2 p.m. And in this article from the Inquirer, it just goes through it. They basically said like they're a very small tap room, and if you look at the pictures, I'll post one as we're talking. If you've ever been to a legit tap room, like they're small. And I will say, space like this, I would not want to be bringing my kid. If I'm going to bring my kid to a brewery or something, like I'm going to make sure it's either something that has outside seating or it's like very big, because it's a hassle for the parent too. I mean, granted, I'm not the type that would just be like, all right, go run around, do what you want. Like there are those parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's putting his foot down. Had a lot of people very happy about this, and we talked about breweries in PA. Like that's always a go-to, like big, controversial back and forth. Should kids be allowed? The number one place that gets shit on the most is actually one of the most popular, Warwick Farms. They're like, it's like a fucking kids zoo there. Like there's too many kids that come there. Da 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 da.
It's funny that gets complained about it, because like a big gimmick of it is it's a gigantic open field.
Yeah.
Like literally from a farm. So it's like you're not really being that impacted by having kids around. You just will, like there's 1,000 places you can go to where you won't be fitting kids in. Like I know Warwick has good beer, but I mean.
Well, and then like, so the article goes into it, and if you click on a lot of the links, it talks about like, you know, I'm of the opinion, yeah, if you're coming in there with a stroller, that's excessive. Like, and
especially to a small room like that, yeah.
Yeah. So the same way we talked about limited run, I think any brewery has the right to do it. Like, if you don't want kids, say there's no kids. 2 p.m. I feel like that's a weird time to say, because I feel like most tap houses don't open till 12 anyway. So it's like a weird 2-hour window you're giving where I'm like, either just don't do it at all or like make it till 5. Like do something in between.
I think that's when they also have their deal going with like a food truck or a food place near there where like the food's actually served. So
gotcha.
It's kind of like their lunch hour.
Yeah.
And also, even interesting, like they also have a separate tap room in Jenkintown. Now, Kensington to Jenkintown, it's not like it's not a quick drive. Like you're driving at least 30, 40 minutes to get, from one to the other.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's convenient, but I mean, they still have an option for there if you want to have the beer and bring your kids somewhere.
Yeah. As I said, this tap room, I'd say at best 50 people, maybe 60 tops. So I get it. In the comments, like in the article outlines, like someone's like, now do dogs. It's another thing. It's like, do we want to be, there's those beer nerds. It's like, they just want to go to a dark, damp place, drink their beers, be miserable, do whatever. And a lot.
But they're also too pussy to go to the local dive bar too.
Yeah, well, exactly. So they're like, this is a haven for them. And I will say, what I've noticed in the craft beer world is the ones that tend to be like locals or frequent, either they're too old and their kids are moved out, or they're the type that's like, I'm just never going to have kids, or can't find a partner or whatever you want to call it. Like, they're just grouchy fucks in general. So seeing kids is like, get them the fuck away from me. I just want to get drunk.
Yeah, a lot of security people at MagFest, they go to these places.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's well within human robot beer's rights. But I guess, Jim, like you said, me and you being people, we have gone to
people of children.
Yeah, and you catch it way more because you probably bring your kid way more than I would. But you said, like, even in some of the breweries, you've definitely caught looks.
Yeah, there's been a few where, like, you bring them in and, like, no one thinks anything. You bring them into another spot and, like, you get looks and you're the only one with a kid there. And, like, you're that people. It's like, all right, guess I'm just trying a flight or maybe one beer and then we'll move on somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not going to pull me out of there. I'm at least trying something.
I mean, what do you think in terms of them making this rule? Is this like is this kind of F you to parents, or is it kind of like a reasonable?
When I saw the size of the place, I was like, it makes sense. Like, I can't be too mad about that. And you know what? Even in general, I'm kind of on your side, though, where, like, 12 to 2 is weird. But, I mean, if you put a bunch of signs out there that says after 2 p.m., no kids, like, people can't be mad about it if, like, they come by. Like, yeah, it might suck if you went out of your way to try the place out and you bring your kid with you and then you see that and you're like, oh, fuck, day ruined. Yeah, it's annoying. Yeah. But at least, like, they're not, like, bullshitting you. Like, if they make it known, then you can't be that mad. It's just their rule. Or, like, another spot that's, like, no kids. Like, all right, there's 1,000 other breweries that I can go to, so I'll just do a different one.
Exactly. I mean, and people, if you're making a whole day out with your kids, do yourself the favor. You gotta do research. If you show up to a place like that, don't then be the asshole that makes a big scene with your kid there. Like, what do you mean we can't? Like, don't do that either. Like, you're not entitled to it. Like, don't be a dick. So.
And then there's also, I forget the fucking name of it, but it's where the old Yards Brewery was. And they basically converted that almost into, like, a kid's play place that's also, like, a tap room. So, like, parents can chill out and have beers, but it's still a gigantic open area with, like, a bunch of jungle gyms and shit like that and set up consoles for kids to run around in and play shit.
I think that's a very smart idea.
And it's only, like, a 15-minute drive from this place. So, like, you have spots you can go.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that only makes sense to me. Real quick, I mean, I also want to hit on, I had tagged you in something from Breweries in PA, but they showed the chart of brewery growths in the past years. And like 2017 was the biggest boom. And it was 77 new breweries. And then it was like 72 new breweries in 2018. And we've talked a gazillion times, like breweries and beer were like, this past decade has been just a fucking boom. It actually, this decade marks the boom start of craft breweries, especially in the country, but in PA.
Yeah.
And now it's leveling out. It's like about like 42 new breweries. And there's been a lot of reports of various breweries that are shutting down in PA.
It's actually crazy because they almost have like restaurant numbers where it's like a ton of breweries aren't surviving their first 5 years.
Which, I mean, honestly, it kind of makes sense because if you think about it, you're in a more niche thing than restaurants. And yeah, restaurants have one of the worst failure rates of any opening new business. Beer is so, like, maybe the overhead's not as expensive, but like yeah, we're seeing left and right, and some of them like Insurrection, Owlworks, like that's one that was like getting pretty popular. That shut down.
That shut down? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like so there's been a bunch of these shutting down, and I think you're gonna see, like, we saw the boom. I think you're gonna see a high number of these now coming out more and more. That's just the way of business, and as we said, there's probably, to be honest, market's a little too flooded right now.
I mean, especially in like PA, where we had like 800 breweries across the state at one point or some shit like that.
Yeah, crazy numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably, once everything gets legal, we're probably going to see that with like fucking distributors for like weed and crap like that once that's legal everywhere. But it's the thing.
I mean, I
like,
just mention it because like that's a weird flex to do in this Kensington tap room, because number one, Kensington, let's be honest, like, you're not in the best area, even though they are trying to gentrify and shit. Like, to now take a stand,
they're only going to go so far into Kensington. Like, where they're at, it's like kind of outskirted of Kensington still.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so you're already in a tough enough area to really boom in business. You will inevitably piss some people off with that. You're going to lose some portion of business. I don't think it's going to gain you people, let's put it that way. And in a market where it's already really hard to compete, like, you better have some outstanding beer. And as I said, I never tried their stuff. I don't know if you did.
No, I've never been down there.
So I do want to try their beers, but it's weird to take a stand on shit right now, man. Just make that money if you want to survive. I don't know.
So it's a fine line. Gotta walk the walk.
Jim, would the ultimate irony be if they close and turn into a daycare?
That would be funny. That's one you walk by and then go,
Jim, speaking of childish, let's talk Adam Sessler.
What? Adam Sessler, former of G4?
Adam Sessler, who I did not know at all. And this is not me taking shots. I know when we talked about it, like, I never watched G4 at all. And no matter how much I was into gaming, like, I didn't know. Like, I knew the name, and he did X-Play on that or something.
Yeah, he was the host of X-Play with Morgan Webb.
So I know nothing about that, so I'm out of the loop there. So it's not throwing shade like, oh, I don't know him, he's a nobody. I'm just saying I didn't know who he was. But as of, I want to say, it started last week. I don't know exactly when. I want to say...
The tirade started last week.
It was last week for sure. I mean, you probably can summarize it better than I can, because I even though I've dove deep into it, you probably have a better grip on why it started, because I still don't quite understand.
Yeah, so you know what it is? The guy's just bored. So basically, people started coming after, and like ever since G4 shut down, actually even going further back, going back to the infamous Frost tirade from like February of last year. You know, when she went off about gamers and shit like that and saying, you know, I shouldn't have to get naked to get your attention, which, you know, fine, whatever. Frost is the last one I want to see that way, but so, like, you know, he defended her right to say it and shit like that, and defended her. So he would get jabs here and there. And then when G4 closed down at the end of last year, you know, people have been here and there throwing jabs at him that, like, you know, he's a failure, he's irrelevant, something like that, blah, blah, blah. And then, for whatever reason, the past fucking week and a half, he's just been nonstop on Twitter, like, just going at it with anyone who would tweet at him. So, and, I mean, it's been all kinds of stuff, like, someone will say something like that, and his favorite thing to say is, like, just, like, standard, like, I fucked your mom jokes. Like, the dude's 49, but, like, that's his, like, go-to. You know, he'll, you know, be a grammar Nazi with them, and... Well, what's this one here? Well, I stopped drinking a little while back, but I did stick my dick in a tub of caviar while playing Fallen Order today. Like, he tries to do this, like, edgy shit, but, like,
he's trying to be
funny.
An intellectual, edgy troll. Yeah,
people
like
are saying,
said,
like, you're not funny, and he's saying, but I'm laughing. Well, it's just like, okay.
Well, as you said, he seems like... You know what it is? It's like everyone in the world who ever had this thought of... You know, after you lose an argument and you think of a good comeback and you're like, God damn, I wish I would have said it right then. It's like he's thinking of this shit later. He's like, oh, now he thinks way too much about this. And he got into it with like RGT
85. Yeah, he had a big back and forth
Smash
with him.
JT. Like, he was getting into it with a bunch of people. And yeah, I look at this like, what does this guy do on a daily basis? And clearly, like, I'm sorry, one of the most annoying things is the quote tweeting somebody and then writing over top of it, but then also blocking them so they can, it's like, if you're gonna be petty and talk shit, like
like Tipster did to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's basically Amish Tipster. That's how I look at him. And
this is a terrible profile picture. I know he's doing it to piss people off, but fuck.
I don't know what I mean, from what I saw from him, yeah, he doesn't.
He doesn't really look like this for the most part.
Yeah.
This was like his COVID beard, I guess.
I don't know. And then, like, I saw this, like, where it got darker. It's like, I don't know, people were talking about his wife, and she has a condition going. Like, there's this weird thing of, like, I can't figure out what was the twig that broke in him that he felt he needed to start the tirade to begin with. Like you said, G4 has been over since November.
Something like that.
So it's like, I guess still kind of a fresh wound, and maybe something triggered him where he saw something. He said, you know what? Fuck these games. Like, he just decided, I'm going to go off. And, you know, his big thing now is, I'm not a gamer. Okay.
He's basically saying, I'm not a gamer. I never was a gamer. I do like playing games, but I don't consider myself a gamer. And everyone's like, well, you built your career off gamers. And he's like, yeah, sucks to be you. I was paid to shill shit. Which, I kind of respect that.
But that's the stupidest thing is, he doesn't... Okay, how do I put this? You don't get to decide if you are something like a gamer. Like, now, don't get me wrong. I think labeling yourself kind of as anything, like when people ask, I say I play games. I never have said I'm a gamer, but I play games all the goddamn time. So if somebody says I'm a gamer, I also wouldn't go, no, I'm not. I just play them. Like, yeah. He is a gamer. He can say he's not. It doesn't matter. He is a gamer, but he's like a self-hating gamer, which is like, there's this weird thing going on there where he's got this like weird turmoil. And I think it's probably because he is a bit way more obscure now that I went back and I was like, let me see what some of his old stuff was. It's like, okay, he probably wasn't a good enough writer to get on a real show, so he got onto that. Like that.
Well, he was always actually, I put a link to it below. Like, obviously I don't need, like, they're not going to get any help from us, but like, he recently was on Biggest Problem in the Universe. I already mentioned it. It's actually a really interesting watch because not everything he says he's wrong. Like, he's annoying and he's like cringe and not funny, and he's obviously like bitter. Like, I think a lot of him is like, he's kind of coped himself. It's like Costanza with that old line of, it's not a lie if you believe it. So I think he's coped his way into just kind of like going so far into deep end to be like, I'm not a gamer. I don't care about any of this. None of this affects me. I don't care if the G4 failed, shit like that. So, but I do also think that the gamers who are nonstop going at him for a week and a half now are also kind of proving his point. Where he's like, oh, the fucking little gamers are being babies and like they have to defend their hobby and shit like that. It's like, guys, you don't have to like just keep doing this. Like, you're not going to win anything, and he obviously doesn't care. Like, apparently he sold some AI program to Reddit, so he's sitting on like a bankload of money, so he just doesn't fucking care anymore about anything.
I mean, here's the deal. That's well and good.
That's one tweet where it's like, if only you did this while G4 was still around, and he said the wings aren't clipped any longer. So
cool. I mean, here's the deal. I watched a little bit of it. He's a very pompous,
extremely
very full of himself. I don't know if whatever he's done is worthy of that. He's believed himself to be. Cool for you. But you could attack any fan base, and it's not just game. If you went sports, if you went music, there would be the same kind of diehards. So that's why it's like, to make it like all gamers are like, and he falls on the same boring arguments. The Cheeto eating, basement dwelling, small dick, and like you said, he's like, I'm gonna show how smart I am by
he's one of those guys who loves to say Dunning-Kruger effect. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you had like Jim for a while there. He had a word of the day calendar, and he's like, I'm gonna use all these. So he's like, I gotta prove how smart I am. Soliloquy,
straight in effect.
That. Like, he's like, it's weird. Like I said, to take such a hard stance. This is like the same thing, where it's like, you call it what you want when you had a friend's like, no way, I'm not gay. I love pussy. He's like going out of his way to be like, I'm not a gamer. No way I'm a gamer. I'm way better than a gamer. It's like, no, you are a gamer. You just for some reason want to not identify and then bash them. It's like, maybe a gamer fucked his wife. I don't know what's going on here. Something happened where he's really mad at gamers.
But you know what? Here's a weird thing, though. Here's a really weird thing. And, like, from that interview, he actually said shit that a lot of the people who were mad at him would agree with if it wasn't in this context of everything going on right now. Like if it wasn't for this, it would just be people quote tweeting going based. Like they brought up Gamergate and shit like that. And they're like, yeah, it's about, there's no ethics in game journalism. And he was like, yeah, duh. He was like, it's like what we say on here. There's like 3 people who do like actual journalism and the rest just regurgitate whatever they're showing for a company. I was like, wow, did not expect to hear that from him. Even though he's against Gamergaters because they attacked his friends and shit, but that's whatever. Or even like, it was just like so many random things where you're like, kind of makes a good point, but he's so like pompous and full of himself that like he could so easily be likable with what he's saying, but he's just such a nerd that he's doing it in like the complete wrong way.
Do you mean like a gamer would?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe all gamers just hate themselves, Brian. Maybe that's what it just comes down to.
It's possible. That's what I'm saying. It's self-gamer hate. And I'm sorry, I went back and like we definitely covered when G4 like had the meltdown. That was Frost is her name, right?
Yep.
I watched an interview. I think one of the more annoying parts of that interview was him and like his annoying ass fucking seal clapping he was doing during it. And like even he's like, because a few times you could tell he got uncomfortable because like Dick was making a joke, but it wasn't. He's like, yeah, I'm a misogynist. And you could tell like his eyes, Adam's eyes start like, so he's like that very corny, like I imagine he's one of the white knightiest dudes out there.
Oh, he is. But like also like he tried to like backtrack on the clapping from like, so I was under the impression because I read somewhere that like he actually wasn't there or on that show when it happened and they just like put him in there clapping. But during that interview he said, yeah, I was doing that like exaggerated seal clap like out of Citizen Kane, where like you see someone like, like going too far and hanging themselves and he's just doing that awkward clap, that kind of deal. So it's almost like he was like somewhat dunking on her as she's doing it. I think that was I think that was a total cope. I don't believe it for a second, but that's what he was saying.
Like, I can't believe any, like this guy clearly, like I wouldn't buy it. If that really is the case, I feel like he should have said it right after it happened and been like, yeah, that was pretty silly of her. Like, because he still kind of defended her. Like, so.
Oh yeah, well, they were like, well, like, why didn't she just go on like every show ever and draw more attention to the network for people to watch her by like doing interviews? And he's like, why she got to defend herself to anyone? He doesn't have to do that. It's like, yeah, I guess not, but it probably would have been a fun marketing ploy in like 2023 internet.
Yeah, but no, like I said, here's the deal. At the end of the day, you and I have said it many times. There's a weird connotation with calling yourself a gamer, and I feel this way about any major thing. I'm never comfortable like when, that whole thing like, who are you? And like people are generally going to go one way. You're going to say, here's what I do for a job. Here's my religion. Here's where I'm from. Like whatever you choose. But if one of your first things is like, I'm a gamer, it's like you could do that. It's weird. But like as someone who loves video games, that would not be in my adjectives to describe myself.
Yeah, like we've said it how many times on this show. Don't make your hobby your personality.
Well, that's a number one, yeah. But also don't be ashamed. Like, I've also never shied away. Like, if the topic of gaming comes up, I'll talk about it. But
well, yeah, obviously.
But like, yeah, it's like, yeah, if that is your personality, it's like, I don't know. That's when, yeah, you don't have that be your main thing. And then, so Adam Sessler, at the end of the day, though, his biggest thing is going to go down as being like the gamer who hated gamers. That's what he's going to be remembered as.
Yeah, pretty much. And like when he first started doing his thing, it's like, man, fuck this guy. Like, turning on everyone who made him famous. But then like it just kept going and going and going, and I'm just like, god damn it. Like that's why we have gamers mad as a recurring topic, because they always do this. They always do this. They always prove the person's point almost.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue. You've commented on I watched it today, being more topical. As of today, Pat the NES dropped a video.
Oh, that video was fucking awesome. He finally responded, and I'm not the biggest Pat fan in the world, but he fucking finally responded to like all the Amico critics who made videos on him over the years. He finally fucking fought back, and it was fucking, I was like, wow, this is great.
Well, that's what I mean, but to your point, it's a gamer he didn't let it go. Like,
oh no,
it's clearly been stewing.
Oh, that's been stewing for years.
Yeah, so he's like, finally, I'm gonna take my shot now. And it doesn't seem like it's the end of the video either. So I liked it too, because it was a little more raw. Like, okay, you guys called me out. Now I'm calling you out. It has that very delayed effect where everyone's like, wait, what? Like, well, we did what?
One thing I always kind of like annoyed me about Pat was when he would be I hate vague posting, like just in general. So like anytime on his podcast when he would talk about people who talk shit on him, he would either give them like a little silly nickname where you knew who it was, but he would never directly like say the name of the person or shit like that. He would do that all the time. It's like, just fucking say the name. But this video, he just dropped clips and linked to all their channels and shit like that. He just went full bore. Good for him.
No, but like I said, that's a good example of like gamers got on his case when he was making fun of the Amiga. Then they were defended it. And then when it all fell apart, they all shit on Tommy Tower. Like, yeah, they
all about-faced, that's for sure.
It's, it's one of those very weird things that gamers do, and you get obsessive with it. And also, though, you look at like a lot of people who are commenting and who you're talking about, it's like, just like we're doing right now, it's like, they gotta make content. So it's also, Adam Sessler is the easy content. The amount of times I had to see that Amish goddamn face on video clips, I was like, God damn, it wasn't even... I don't know what I got more tired of, this or that goddamn policewoman meme already, which I'm already tired of. Like, both got burned out instantaneously.
We're only like 3 days... We're recording this on the 15th, so we're only like 3 days into the police girl meme. I'll give it like 2 more days before I'm like, all right, I get it, enough.
Oh, it's already been burned to... It's like... Okay, every other line.
I mean, you're not going to top the I can take 6 black guys at once, or 6 cops at once, and you have Christopher Dorner and her, so...
Yeah, that's my point. Is now you had probably the best ones you could have got, and now you have all the cheap imitations or the tryhards, and you're like, okay.
It's like, look, the best comment's already been made. It's done. Like, you're not going to top it.
You just walk that. Do you know how many times back when, like, for that very short period when I was like, I will make some memes, and then I would like find one that was like too good. I was like, well, I'm not even going to bother doing this. Like it. Don't do it. Like, no.
Yeah. I mean, it's already been perfected. It's done. Like, the best you can do is just repost it or, like, type the same thing as if it was your original idea and steal some likes. Like, that's all that's left. Like, it's done. It's over.
Yeah. But now, this Adam Sessler shit, like I said, I hope he drops it. I hope gamers drop it. I still, like I said, I would love to know the real story of whatever happened to him that day. That he's like, you know what?
He really did wake up one day and just go, no,
yeah, something.
No more. He threw his water bottle across the wall.
Yeah.
Shit like that. He was like, no. But I mean, he's always been a really like angry, bitter guy. Like, you can check through his stuff, like when it comes to politics or COVID or shit like that. Like,
I've heard he's notorious for his rants.
Oh yeah, he goes off on his rants. He'll disown anyone who's close to him if they don't follow the same rules as him and shit like that. So.
I actually heard he's related to the quartering, so it makes sense. That's a rumor. You can spread it if you want.
that would be some shit. That's the first I've ever heard of it, so I cannot confirm or deny, but that would be extremely funny if he was related to Jeremy. Jesus Christ.
Jim, it's completely true. Tweet it out.
Tweet out right now. Get it started.
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm bad at social media. Shit.
Jim. What you need to do is at the Patreon video, as you're washing your hand with the dick soap, start mentioning it. Hey, did you... Jim's facts. Hey, did you guys know? See, Jim? It's gold.
It's gold, Jerry. Gold.
And then after you get enough retweets, hey, well, I got you all here. Here's our Patreon, or here's our podcast.
Or I'll be the Justin Rollett and write JK at the end of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Or just say, these opinions are my own. They do not reflect Drink a Beer and Play a Game. I'm going to have to do that for you, goddammit, after seeing that Discord.
What?
You son of a bitch.
Wait, hey, it's in Discord, it clearly says Jim from Drink a Beer and Play a Game.
That's the saving grace right there. I'm like, thank God. Because sometimes I see...
Well, we can't have 2 fucking profiles with the same account and fucking avatar either, so...
Sometimes I see you write things on Twitter and I go, God damn it, Jim.
Why?
You need to make it clear this is you son of a bitch, because these people don't know us, and they're like, who's this Drink a Beer son of a bitch? Don't let me.
What?
You know your opinions.
What? What? My great opinions? Perfect? Flawless?
But Chambers, how did So, what was the first beer again?
No, I just had 3 Sierra Nevadas.
The Sierra Nevadas.
Yep.
So, is it bringing you back? Or are you know?
It is a nice throwback. Like, it's such a smooth beer to drink at this point. Like, I can't remember back in the day if I would drink and I'd be like, oh man, this is a whole lot of like flavor in this one or something like that. I don't remember ever being like really taken back by Sierra Nevada even back in the day, but it's good. It's smooth. It's definitely, it's more macro. Is it owned by AB InBev now? Is that another one that got sacrificed to the gods?
That I don't know. I mean, I know if they are, it's going to be a similar situation to like a Yingling where it's like we're craft and indie, but they're so big they can't fail.
Right.
So, yeah, they may be. It's a good point. They might be, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, but no, it's really solid. And if you want that, like I said, if you want that like IPA flavor without licking a tree's asshole with hops, like it's a good one to go for.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, the Pompeii. I mean, I've said many times, regular ass IPAs, they're never gonna like, oh my god, wow me. But it was nice. It's a nice, fresh, hoppy flavor that in the middle of winter, especially now that it's finally starting to get cold. Not that I'm happy about it, but like we've had 60-degree days for I feel like 2 weeks, and all of a sudden,
dude, Christmas was like 10. We went from like 10 to like 60 and back to 30. Like, make up your mind.
So it's a nice little refreshing break. So I do enjoy it. I think if you're into IPAs, give it a try. And once again, I'm a sucker for it. Put some effort into your cans. And this Toppling Goliath Brewing Company, they put some goddamn effort into it.
That is some good can art. That is some really good can art.
Yeah, so try it out. But yeah, I finish it off with good old classic rolling.
Hey, speaking of pale ales.
Yeah, the extra pale ale.
Well, you got me there. Shit. Right.
So with that,
speak back to white girls. You're just a little bit extra. That's all it is. It's 23 and 23.
Some will call me XD. I don't know. But we truly, damn it, Jim. We truly appreciate it, everyone. If you're still watching, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because the algorithm does not like our name. So you might not always get notified when we post new videos. If you're listening, as Jim said, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you want to bash us, tell us how much we suck or whatever. We will read the comment and we will respond to you.
Come on, bronies. Bring it, bronies. Fucking weirdos.
With that, we want to say, damn it. We want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, guys.